Hey, look, Menulog.
Nice job just standing there.
It's Asol.
Is that Cho'Gath?
Aurelian Soul.
You already asked yesterday if you could say that on stream, and now you're just saying it whenever you can, Kitty. That's crazy. It's true. It was true. Menulog in the chat. If you were here 2 hours ago, you could have won $30, but now, nah, you can't. Unfortunate for you guys. But, of course, we do have this third game for the night, and we've already had a couple of upsets, so what's one more to the tally? But this one, I wouldn't even argue it's going to be an upset no matter who wins, right? I'm thinking it's like a 55-45 kind of split, depending on who's feeling it on the day. That's really what it's going to come down to, right, Rusty?
I mean, yeah. To be honest, I think you're right. It could go either way. I'm curious to see what our predictions are. Actually, I don't know. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But I'm wondering what everyone's going to go for, because it could just be who shows up on the day.
Maybe this is where the comeback mechanics in the predictions are going to come into play. But of course, we've got to talk Kanga first. Skimmy, take me through the changes this lineup's put into place, but also how successful it's been.
Yeah, well, Fighter came in late onto the split to fill a position in mid lane. Looked explosive, looked exciting, had a few pocket picks up his sleeve, right? The likes of a Tristana. He brought in the Cassiopeia as well, but he's been sat quite comfortably in the likes of Vex and Corki the last few games. Then Scott came in a couple of weeks ago, showcased that, look, I'm explosive, I'm young, I'm hungry, I'm mechanically gifted, and I'm keen to showcase what I can do at the highest level here in OS. So he's been exciting. Obviously, a tall step up for what he's used to compared to, say, OCS, but I think he's slotted into this team quite nicely. Just obviously needs a little bit more time to, gel with the rest of the team and find direction. Because I think that's the biggest talking point they mentioned, right? When only moved from the shot caller as the active jungler into a coaching position, they all sort of discuss their own ideas, right? And it's just a case of no clear direct shot caller. So that'll be a big talking point, no doubt, going to split 2.
Yeah, we'll see where that one ends up. But a team that's had a lot of time to get their things sorted is Mammoth. They started the split strong, and I dare say they want to finish it strong as well. Looking pretty good over the previous couple of weeks, and a whole lot of praise going Voice's way, Rusty.
Yeah, Voice definitely deserving of the praise. Has been, I would say, the star of the team. Fury obviously has had some pretty big moments, and everyone individually has lifted at different times, but it does seem like when all else fails, look at Voice, expect him to get to 3 items, expect him to try and 1v9 a game out. Hasn't always worked that way, hasn't always been successful. This last game against Kanga, the perfect example of it. The Caitlyn, who was like 9-1 with all the resources, was just casually ran down off cooldown by the rest of Kanga, and really lent us a bit of more insight into the potential of the Kanga roster, I will say, which is always exciting to see, especially with Lived being a hard carry in top lane.
Now, speaking of Lived, let's have a quick chat about what's going to be going on in top. Is this going to be one where Lived can finally just run rampant? Because Tron, he was very, very strong at the start of the season, but it seems throughout the mid-split sort of area, he just fell off. He just seemed to not have anywhere near as much impact. Didn't seem to be roaming anywhere near as much. Wasn't getting those flanks off, which we loved seeing him being able to do. Is it just because he went to like some more meta-style champs, or what do you think the problem was there, Rusty?
I think it's because he actually went away from more meta champs towards the end, which is why he's recently had a resurgence, right? So, yeah, it could be that he tried to adapt to what other teams are playing, but like I think the past week of top lane for him has just been Ryze. Like he's just playing something that perhaps he's more comfortable with. He's got 3 Ryze games in a row. So that could be it, right? Go back to basics, have it as a flex pick, but really they're not even flexing it.
Yeah, that's really what it is. And look, we'll have a quick chat about that bot lane as well. So, different play styles from both of these bot laners coming in today. Although, that being said, we did see Lemus really pop off last week.
He did, yeah. 2 games on the Ezreal last week, showcasing that there is still more juice in the tank, ready to showcase what he can do in that one. Up against some very good opponents as well, right? Up against Piglet, up against Raze, and look quite content on that one. I feel like they're very different play styles overall. Also, just the way the team plays around them, right? You look at Voice, it is the Voice show. He's got the highest kill share, the highest kill participation in the league for an AD carry. You look at Lemus, he's at the bottom end of that table for both those categories as well, right? So there's one clear identity, which really started, I think, for a few weeks ago when Fury played like the Seraphine mid. It was a case of all in on Voice, please pop off, because this is all we're going to be doing until the end of Split 1, right? Where you look at Lemus and it's like, we're investing our stocks into the hype train of what Fighter could offer, or perhaps even into what Lived can achieve in his own right. So
Yeah.
very different styles, and I'm keen to see how it clashes.
I've heard a lot of praise for Voice's macro gameplay as well, but Kitty needs a lot of praise as well because she's killing it in the interviews as always. Who do you have for the pre-match?
Thank you guys. You guys were just talking about Lived, and luckily I've brought him in for the interview tonight. So Lived, hello, good night. How are you feeling heading to tonight's match?
Yeah, feeling pretty confident tonight. You haven't watched the Attack on Titan episode yet. No spoilers, so don't say anything about that.
I actually haven't seen 2 episodes, I believe. I've been slacking. But let's talk about something else. So I've actually done some digging, and I realized that you were the second highest, well, you had the second highest kill participation as a top laner, sitting at 54.4%, just below Zoranus. So would you say that you play a huge role for the team to either be engaging or flanking for these team fights?
I think this year, I think I'm trying to take a more active role in contributing to the team. I feel like last year it was a big learning point for me since I haven't played top lane for very long. I think this year I'm trying to put it more into practice, so I'm kind of trying to show what I can actually do. I think I do have a strong point in the team, but I think I still also have a lot more to work on.
That's okay. We always have Split 2, and I'm excited to see what you have ready for Split 2. So let's talk about the items in top lane. So we actually see Hullbreaker lower in popularity because of the top lane meta and because of its nerf. So what do you think of the meta right now for top, and what champions are making a comeback?
Well, Kennen, obviously, I think that buff that he got was massive. I think he was okay before, but I think that really helped shove him into the meta. I think it's the biggest change. I don't think Raya's top lane, even though it's been played. I think it's okay, but I don't think it's like that. I think it's you can only pick it in very specific stuff. Gnar as well came back for a bit. I think it's okay, but I still think the meta hasn't shifted that much. I think it's still around the same.
Well, something I hope is the same. So who's actually your favorite character in Attack on Titan? And I need to know this for myself, by the way.
Oh god, that's a goddamn tough question. It would probably be Irwin, honestly. I'm a big Irwin fan. I would die for that man. If he told me to charge into the battle to goddamn die, I would do it.
I didn't know Irwin had fans. Well, Liv, I'm gonna let you go and prepare for your game. I'm gonna sit on that answer for a while. I didn't actually realize Owen had any fans, so I'm gonna go do some researching. Thank you for your answer, Liv, and now I know. Now I know that the world has Owen fans. Best of luck in your match, Liv.
Awesome, thank you very much.
Look, likewise, if Steve Irwin told me to run into battle, I'd probably go and die for him as well because he's an absolute legend. Now, it's time for the Dare fan vote. I already had a peek at your predictions coming in, and Kanga's still got the lead by about 20k, so we'll see where that one ends up. But for now, Kanga looking like the favourites. So get your Twitch points in, and you can do my vote, although I'm pretty hesitant on that one because you've already got 2 L's today, Twitch chat. Although, not everyone in Twitch chat. I did see Carbon was flexing his Twitch points saying, look at this, I've gone for the underdogs. Woo! Got heaps of Twitch points. So congrats to all the winners, all the grinners, of course, in Twitch chat. Oh! We got some spice, finally. Rusty, tell me. You going to get the dub?
I mean, who's the favourite this game? That's the question.
That's the question.
That's a hard call,
because they're losing, whoever it is. I don't know. I just think that I have seen enough from Kanga to confidently say I don't think they would convince me they win this 100 out of 100 games that they play, right?
Yeah.
I would say this is closer to a 40-60, and so I've just gone with what is in my mind the 40 side.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good risk. You can maybe catch up to Skimmy. It'll put you 2 behind him. And look, even when the players have told us today so far, when they've got the pep in their step, they're feeling it, they've still been getting those L's. So even if Lived was saying he's going to have the greatest game ever, he's going to be gapping, colossal gapping or whatever that term he used, many weeks ago now, and then that of course, didn't go too well. He's coming in again with some decent words, mostly talking about Attack on Titan. So maybe I'm thinking maybe it is a Kanga game because he's focusing less on the game, more on anime, less about gapping, more on big crazy monsters. I don't even know. I'm not up to the current seasons of Attack on Titan, man. Do they get bigger? Is that the thing? They just keep on
get
getting bigger every time.
Bigger.
Damn, spoiled. Don't need to watch it anymore. So does that mean there's going to be the biggest Titan ever in the last episode?
That is
that
it's
what's
the
going
title as well, I believe, Kitty. It's the biggest Titan ever is its actual name.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
No, I haven't watched. I don't know what I'm talking about.
He's just making up yarns.
I
Beautiful.
don't know what I'm talking about at all, man.
Love it.
Spinning them. That's the way we like it. Now, of course, it is that third game of the day. I hope we get to see something spicy again. I hope we do see... Look, I was so sad when Noct got insta-banned that last game as well, but it did force... it forced Lisa onto something a little bit less talky. And look, maybe TikTok builds are the way to go for him.
A little bit less talky. I love that. That's a great way to describe it, isn't it?
Yep.
This is like a yarn station now. What is it? Literally making up words and titles and spoilers.
Spoilers for, the abridged series of Attack on Titan, surely. Now, look, before we jump on into game, Kitty, tell me, why have you gone with, you went with Kanga, right?
Yes, I indeed went with Kanga. Like I said, for all my arguments against Mammoth, I believe that their drafts have been kind of weird, not fitting to my taste, but they have grabbed a couple of wins with voice carry. But if they do that again, I believe that maybe Mammoth actually do have the upper hand. So in my case, I'm actually going for the underdogs, where Kanga will actually take the win because today is opposite day.
Well, on that note, Champ Select's ready. So let's see who wins on opposite day.
40-60 and opposites and underdogs. It's just all too much for me. Let's just look at draft roster.
We're
Let's see what
actually
happens in this
arguing
one.
about who the favorite is at this point,
I am
Skivvy,
so
because
mind-blown.
we don't want to back the favorite. That's where we're at.
No one wants to be left red-faced, right? Being like, oh, I actually went for the wrong run. Yeah, it happens.
It does, it does. But look, we're into the draft. We can take stock of what's happened so far. Hecarim banned, Volibear banned as well. So it's the first time today we've seen the Hecarim actually removed from the Rift. And I like it. It's back where it should be, I feel like. More often than not, Hecarim will be banned instead of picked. We've had 2 anomalies back-to-back. Gwen also going to be taken away from Lived, as well as the Cassiopeia, specifically from Phyto. So they are really targeting what feels like a bit more magic damage mix into the champion pool. And considering that Gwen is target banned, like if you actually look at the global pick ban rate of Gwen, Skimmy, it is 7%.
Oh, it's dropped considerably, but I like this ban in particular because I thought that could have been a difference maker, right? Liv could be left on an island to do his thing. He is still the Gwen player. So love the fact that he, as well as Fido, have been addressed early on into this one. The Lee Sin coming out again, that was the last game that Scott played. He looked pretty good on it. Found a lot of little angles for him to work with, so excited to see if he can deliver again.
On third, you're having a laugh. You're absolutely having a laugh. Lived has all the choices in the world right now. If he wants to pick at third, he can, because then it is effectively matching roles. It's an order of priority here, though, right? Like, you've seen the Ornn. You have to assume if you don't pick a top laner, they could ban 2 really good matchups, perhaps, for it. But at the same time, I think Mammoth and Tron have just made that nod, right? They've got that handshake agreement of, like, you're just going to have a bad time on a weak side, and you're just going to have to deal with it while we win the rest of the map. They held off on their AD carry pick here as well. Still got Caitlyn up, but really not being seen as much. Ezreal, I don't think, is going to be the point of priority with the Nautilus. And you see that the Aphelios is there, so certain champions, like even the Vayne matchup, not going to be as viable. I'm very curious as to where he chooses to go.
Yeah, it's a careful consideration, right? He's removed the Camille, or Mammoth rather had removed Camille. Only one game played by it from Liv this split. He did play a fair few last when he was playing on the side of Chiefs, so excited to see what else he decides is the go-to into the likes of this Ornn, the Ahri, as well as the Veigar, denied away from Ari Fury, making a life that much easier now for Fido to find his matchup.
I'm wondering if it is going to be another Varus angle or something of the likes for Voice, right? Just seeing all of the bans that are coming across. I also think that Samira has a place when you've got a Nautilus as a support. Just chucking champion names out there that I think could be considered. Mammoth are going to do what is expected of them, right? If you pick Ornn, you have to ban top champions or you're clowning your top laner. So they will get rid of the Camille that you mentioned. They'll get rid of the Tryndamere also. From Fido being a flex there. Fido, I think, actually popped off last week with it. And from memory, there was a crazy quad kill for him in a fight. That's a good ban.
Certainly is pretty good. And yeah, Tom Kench going to come on through, right? So Tom Kench, as well as the Aphelios, seems to be I wouldn't say like the meta replacement to Fresh Aphelios, but certainly gives them a welcome invitation to play aggressively, to continue at that pace of in your face and responding to what Mammoth no doubt will be doing. I think Lionel said a fair few really good performances on this pick in particular, but finally the Draven comes through. It's been teased and banned and denied from, well, this man as well as Raze, but it's coming out in week 9.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we're sitting here naming AD champions, right? It just didn't feel like it was going to be a Caitlyn angle or anything of the like. Draven has been banned. It has not been picked until now. And looking at the composition that Mammoth have, there is an exceptional amount of dive, particularly with their last pick here for Refury with the Vex. It is all about getting a lead and snowballing that lead forwards. If they fall behind, you can't help but feel like they'll just get steamrolled over. Because Draven doesn't have the disengage button. The Xin Zhao doesn't have that disengage button. They are going in and they are making the plays happen.
They certainly are. Question is, though, will Kanga fight fire with fire and go in as well? They're going to answer back with the Aatrox. They're going to see what they can do into the tanky Ornn. But overall, we've got a lot of diving threats. We've got scaling damage. We have a lot of damage as a collection on either side.
Yeah, there definitely is an abundance of damage across the board here. Magic damage is a little bit lacking for both teams, just considering that there's going to be a bit more scaling there. Fido may want to go the full AP build, we'll have to see. Lived going for that Aatrox last into the Ornn matchup, however. I feel like Aatrox has a pretty good time with this one. You can go Conqueror, have a good laning phase, you know, build your bruiser items, get a Gore Drinker, be literally unkillable. It also isn't that great for Tron to be able to get through, right? Your dash can get cancelled. Your W can stop the mini knock-up from a Q, but you're predictably positioned for the next one. So, one of those matchups where I feel like Lived could run away with it, but really, eyes go towards bot lane for a Draven Nautilus, where for me, it's Scott on Kanga's side to see what he can get done.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, right? You're really excited to see what Scott can do there, but more so about this Draven. It's been teased, it's been hyped, it's been really on the cusp of being played. And finally, we're going to get to see it in action. And what an explosive game it should be, right? Already sort of teeing it up as a sort of a balancing of polar opposites in the bot lane as to how they're playing towards each other. If this Draven gets online nice and early, I'm excited to see how many stacks of adoration he can get and just how deadly those, those ultimates can be.
Oh, I mean, without a doubt, right? Given that it now has the execute based off adoration stacks for the bonus health execute point. Certainly something we'll look at, but at the same time, a lot of teams, right, we talk about a Draven composition and say, well, you probably are going to be playing towards the Draven. The fact you've got an Ornn top gives that away, but you don't have to go straight there, right? Like, it's not like a level 2 necessity. They tend to lock it down themselves, level 2. You probably want Refury to be freed up on the map through Mayfun ganking mid to then move the 2v2 down together. Acknowledging that your opponents here of the Lee Sin and the Ryze can get very active around the map themselves, right? Ryze ulti, Lee Sin in general, very mobile, very active champions. There probably will be some skirmishes around mid that influence the bot lane.
Certainly bot lane will be an area we'll no doubt be paying a lot of attention to. I'm personally excited to see where Tron goes with this one, right? There was once upon a time the Futures Market rush to get that Fawn Mail, or rather the Bramble Vest in nice. And we've seen how much of a headache that can be for the Aatrox player to deal with. And as much as there is, the dash and the cancels and the buffering in that regard, it'd be a great way for Tron to be the equalizer. Well, let's load into the Rift here for our third game of the night already. We are breezing through things with 2 upsets already to talk about. Which way will this one go? It's the battle for 6th place, with both teams coming in with a 5-win and 14-loss record. A chance to showcase what they can do, a culmination of a split's worth of work. Well, let's check in with the coaching staff, and let's bring in Coach Drac for another check-in, another conversation more than anything. And I suppose, on the side of Kanga, I mean, how's everyone really feeling with this being the final week of Split 1?
There will always be a feeling of disappointment when you haven't made playoffs. But when we made the changes we did, sort of in the middle of the split, we recognized that it was going to take time and that not making playoffs is probably going to be part of that as an effect. So we just kept working and focusing this week. We've been happy with our learning and momentum in practice, and hopefully we're building towards being even more competitive next split.
No doubt. I mean, we've already seen a fair few games showcase what is to come later on in the year. Quickly touching on the draft as well. Obviously, a lot of targeting bans on your end to make life difficult with the Gwen, as well as the Cassiopeia. But what did you make about this Draven ban, or this Draven pick, rather?
I think that Mammoth have got a lot of chutzpah here. They picked Draven into a renowned Draven player in Limas himself, so hopefully he understands how to play the bot lane around it.
I love the confidence. Absolutely fair point indeed. Well, we're going to crack on with this one. Wish you boys the best luck, and we'll catch up soon.
Thank you very much.
Valid point, isn't
Yeah.
it? It really is. Limas has certainly been keen to play it whenever he gets a chance as well. Not to be the case just yet, though. The hook goes out very early on.
Yeah, just chucking a hook for the sake of it. Really didn't have the AD in tow. Mammoth probably going to be playing for level 2 spikes here. That the wave is set up in a way that's pretty difficult to find successful hooks at the level 2 spike. It's mostly about voice, but he's right. I mean, what Drax said is pretty spot on. He's dealing with a Lee Sin player, prolific Lee Sin, rather Draven player on the other side of the map here in Limas, who should intimately understand the windows and how to play with and against the Draven.
Let's see what takes place in that bot lane later on into this one. As it stands, both junglers parving away from one another. Mayfan working his way towards bot side is actually Voice and Rocco went for a cheeky little bit of a roam themselves. No vision planted like I can see it from the mini-map, but we're checking themselves out there as Scott working on his own red buff as well.
It is just going to be blue to red. Both junglers actually going to be on the opposite side of the map. They can just play for their scuttle crabs freely and get one apiece if they would like. But at the same time, gank avenues you would expect start to present themselves. Lived has decided that he wants to get a ward on this blue side jungle for when they spawn back. And we'll just walk through and tank a minion wave to get it done. Because what's an Ornn going to do? Stop him? Can't do anything. He's an Ornn.
You'd be so lucky for him to do anything on that occasion. It's just a passenger to what is taking place in his own backyard. As Mayfan going to work his way towards the first crab. Scott's already achieved that top side. Maybe looking for a cheeky invitation into mid here, but Refury's already got the idea that something is about to take place. Plants vision of his own.
Mm-hmm.
Both popping a fair bit of trade.
Yeah, both very good wards. Mayfan also going to clear a ward in bot side at the same time here as well. I believe that was placed and immediately killed by the Xin Zhao without a sweeper needed. So that's really, really well timed by Mayfan. Also means that he's going to be able to get another ward placed for himself. And look at this wave. It's being highlighted by the observers now as well. I mean, this is an angle where a Draven gets aggressive. The question is, how does the trade go? Because you would expect most lanes, most matchups, Draven will outdamage any other AD. But the Tahm Kench effect, Tahm does a lot of damage, man.
He does.
If Tahm gets onto you with that W, like you're definitely going to take some damage. And they have an exhaust, and you don't.
Yeah, the tongue lash is certainly very explosive. Look at them going for the kill right there. The hook connects to first blood inside. Oh, they've denied it onto Lionel as well. Where are you going? Straight to the graveyard. It's a double. 2 found, 1 apiece for the bot lane duo as Kanga look to answer back topside, and Scott is trying his hardest. His flash is dead.
No.
Oh, that's embarrassing. That's upsetting.
Scott looking like Rocco's camera after that one, I reckon. Just a little bit tilted. He tries to go for the Warthog, but I think if he gets an auto attack off there, Skimmy probably has the kill just because there is a red buff, right? There's the slow, there's the ability to chase down. But at the exact same time as this Xin Zhao getting a very good gank off bottom, right? The Nautilus flashes over the minion wave, hits it. This is a juicy wave, by the way, so going through that to make the play almost feels inhuman. But you've got the Nautilus auto attack after the hook as well. Lionel's not going anywhere. Draven, they very intentionally give that kill to Draven second, or the first one was locked down by Rocco. I think that was like 180 extra gold plus 20 from Triumph just immediately, and the difference in AD items will start to show very fast.
I mean, talk about a snowball effect, right? The fact that you've been able to retain both your summoners, picked up the kill, returned back and said, well, life is looking good now in the hands of trading patterns, because you're quite right. I mean, that's a wave where you'd think there's no way they do this, but very unfortunate that Limas just flashes in a straight line. It makes it very easy for Rocco to connect.
Well, that's it, right? You've got an Aftershock Nautilus who can flash and proc Aftershock, so the minions are hitting him as he's engaging anyway. And you've also got a jungler there. I think that would have been inhuman if they 2v2. But, you know, they've got a jungler, they've got the difference maker. Then meanwhile, on the opposite side of the map, Scott dies with the dive attempt. This is worst case scenario, honestly.
Yeah. Certainly in terms of starting off the game on the wrong foot. That would be in the discussion of things. I wonder what it does mean really for Liv, because I mean you can look at laning states as it stands, double to CS essentially, so still going to be very content, but they have given that kill across to Tron, right? So may just be the stabilizer.
It is the right place to gank as well, not only a Draven lane, but a flashless Aphelios. It'll probably continue to happen down here. Lots more aggression to be seen. You can look at the pathing from Mayfun. Doesn't have a lot of mana, so he's probably looking for a reset as that blue respawns, but is still on the bot side of the map. Top also, like we do have to highlight the fact that Ornn is still incredibly far behind in his matchup. He's being pressured, but that kill does so much work for just keeping him in the lane. It's unreal.
Here they go again. Wave pushing against them.
Rocco
Does
wishing he
Limas
had an
dare
X
step
flash.
up?
Am I right?
No
Just
doubt
me?
about it.
Very patient. One would say incredibly patient. Kanga are respecting. They know that there's no point. If a hook hits, the fight still happens, and the hook range is incredibly long. So you can pull them out of what feels like a safe spot. But Mayfun's just going to show.
Yeah, essentially he's just been fed up of waiting for too long. The question for me is, what can Scott find as a result of this reveal? He's been able to show top side, assist Lived in crashing that wave, and I think he's just found 2 plates as a result of it. Well, he's gone back to base, picked up items. He's going to return to this one on an even playing field.
Yeah, I mean, Top's in a whole lot of trouble. Just so far behind in experience and gold, primarily from last hits, more than experience. He's caught the wave. He has ultimate as well here, so Tron can force these waves to be held. Kanga, Scott's down here, Rise ult.
Rise ult coming in. Hello, there's the fear. Vex is doing its job right now. Fido seems to be the target. Fido's about to fall on down, but he flashes away out of vision. Mayfun gets kicked away, but it's
Scott's
not enough
dead.
to execute him. And now Lionel has to play goal defense. He flashes over the wall, hits the thick skin, cops the summon a heal. And it's just too damn tanky to take down for a second.
They try to engage onto a Xin Zhao that has ultimate, so not everyone's able to deal damage the entire time, and he just scrapes away with just enough health to survive here. We'll see it again, because Scott resets to defend, smites and executes the blue buff, and they are consciously choosing to go here. But look at Limas. His contribution to this fight, while the rest of his team is trying to kill a Xin. Limas, even if he was in the fight and walked into the river, wasn't going to be able to deal damage regardless. So, feels like just a really far forward play that probably results in a trade 1-for-1. Best case scenario for Kanga. Fido barely scraped away as well.
Game quickly getting out of hand. Craven incredibly fed. Already has a bounty at 9 minutes into this one. Eclipse complete. Armor penetration is there. Catch those axes. And well, the writing is on the wall. You may just be dead. There's not really much you can do at this stage. I mean, you need the CC. That's going to come on through soon. Liv popping the World Ender, looking to try and be a bit of a threat of his own demise, trying to take out Voice in a 1v1. But he doesn't have the flash. He's having to try and dash, but he just can't block the hook, can he? He's just going to fall on down. They hand the kill across again. Adoration checked in. More gold in Draven's hands.
Cash absolutely just rolling in it if you have Voice right now. No summoners, no problem. He's got the team to back him up. Mayfun is actually just a secondary support for the team presently, and they are all just about Voice getting a lead and transitioning that into a team-wide victory. Standard Mammoth play, let's be perfectly honest here.
Oh, for sure.
Nothing's changed. They've not reinvented the wheel, simply the champ select. Has the full Eclipse purchased very early, and just got given extra. My man's has a 300 gold shutdown. Need to keep that in mind. So he's worth a lot if they're able to kill him for Kanga. But so far, very good from him.
And it couldn't be more to our opening discussion right, about both of these teams, how both play very different towards their AD carry. We're seeing it reflected already 10 minutes into the game as to what that sort of looks like. The question does become, though, can they sustain this?
But this is...
Because they've got themselves a small lead, but is it enough?
Yeah, it's about how they flip the map, right? How they actually assign their lanes on their deploys. So Aatrox wants to realistically be into the Ornn lane. If they're able to find a cheeky opportunity to bring Aatrox to the fight, that is really favorable for them because he is the one with the lead. But if it's in a Draven and a Aphelios in a 4v4, you're so afraid of the Draven. You're terrified of his damage output. But this is a really good moment for Kanga, right? They brought Liv down. The waves crashed bottom. This should just be a free Drake, and Mammoth realistically just need to get gold in their pockets instead of even trying to contest.
Yeah, continue farming and ignore the fact that Kanga are working towards that soul point. That will now be their second Drake. With the mountains, or rather the mountain Drake acquired, to say the Hextech Soul is what they're going to be playing for this time around. So, bit of extra damage stats later on into the game. The Hextech Portals, no doubt, for some flanking angles if they can find them.
And to no one's surprise, Mayfun is here with voice. They're threatening. Lee Sin's still nearby. Refury has been seen, so they know presumably Fora here, and they just show what a Kanga do, because teleports or...
DP's coming in, trying to make it a 4v4. Moonlight Vigil comes across, does shred them fairly, but not enough. Big fear.
The Rise
zones them
ulti.
away. Realm Warp, they walk on in, the hook hits nothing. Scotch is dead! He flash kicked and fell on down. Now there's the Shadow Surge as Refury goes in. But it's a fantastic Devour to prevent any more casualties.
That Rise ultimate was not allowed, bro. That is so illegal. Hook just missing. Rocket probably dies if that hits, but they would be trading top.
Ev's gonna get the kill, flash away from the final charge of that Q there. That would have been huge for Kanga if they could find at least a trade back elsewhere.
I'd need to actually look back towards top lane, because I'm not sure if there was 2 teleports attempting to be used bottom. I was paying more attention to bottom, but Lived is also recently on cooldown. Tron has that as an advantage. Getting this plate bottom is also extremely risky. I feel like the play has been said and done, and they are just trying to get that little bit extra. But you don't want to give the Draven shutdowns over. And Draven and his entourage of supports will try and recall this time.
Back to base they go, this time successful. This time Kanga responding second again, saying we need to defend this one. We need to find our first kill, more so than anything, right? I mean, they've summoned the Herald nice and early. Going down bot side now to answer back all those plates having been lost. If they can find their first top, this would be quite nice.
Oh, this teleport is just going to get in time, actually. Refury does well. And there's a chance that if Limas actually commits to that one, right, they might have been able to take it before he got there. Tron has just discovered death.
Dash away, but Liv's locked him inside those Infernal Chains. No, he hasn't. Just broke them.
The angles of the chains weren't going to bring him back. Also, I'm pretty sure if the W is there for Ornn, he can just time it with the chain pullback anyway and be fine. Just being spooked. The thing with top as well here, Skimmy, is it was like 45 CS early. You know, it was like double his farm, but like 30 CS to 80. That's really stayed, if not been shrunk slowly over time, to the point where Tron is actually really comfortable now in his 1v1 potentially. Which, to be for an Ornn, is just not dying, right? Yeah, that's comfort.
That's it.
Yeah.
Farmy Cinder, Bramble Vest, cool. I'm just farming up my tier.
Smack some minions. Stop the Aatrox from smacking your turret for as long as possible. That's living.
Certainly are the joys of playing a tank in modern day League of Legends, that's for sure. Another turret found though, so it's good rotations really on the map here for Kanga. It's actually done a lot of work in bringing back the gold.
I mean, mid is actually really far ahead to the side of Kanga as well. They've been constantly farming. Refury has just been roaming. The thing with Mammoth, they're playing so heavily around their AD, but not for anything proactive. They're just escorting Mr. President as he goes from wave to wave. While Kanga are getting side waves, they're getting farm into the pockets of everybody. They're breaking turrets piece by piece. The gold is even. And that's including how much bonus gold is given to a Draven for those Adoration stack kills.
Just huge, absolutely right. I mean, we talk about it all the time in comparison to, say, like, you know, Gangplank or even a Twisted Fate. But it's a valid point, right? They are certainly playing towards this one key character. He wants to get their Essence Reaver as quickly as possible. And then be an absolute trading monster. Certainly a carry capable of getting an ace on his own terms, but...
They're... Whoa, I mean...
Tron's even grouped up.
Yeah, it's a play for the Herald, so they're not going to contest the Drake yet. They're going to go straight onto the Herald on spawn. Tron has, I believe, skirted around all vision, so they're not going to know that he's here. But the reality is Kanga are never contesting this one. If they wanted to, they could look towards the Drake, but even then, I think Kanga prioritize getting extra gold into the pockets of their carries and snowballing this game out by avoiding the 5v5, just straight up. Mammoth are staring them down, saying, step up, right? They're just puffing their chest. And Kanga are doing the correct decision, which is just not engaging.
Yeah, just counter jungling. If you're taking the Herald, then we're going to steal your side of the jungle. We're going to find another turret plate. We're going to find ourselves an angle to open up the base elsewhere. We know you're going to be grouped as 5. If you're not, then we know something is fishy. And yeah, Mammoth can find their second turret and open up mid.
Tron gonna have a cheeky craft. Make an entire Frostfire gauntlet before the fight happens at the Drake. Lived on a flank, will presumably get spotted. Scott is the one who will not.
Or just at a range there from the Everfrost. Chains don't connect. Bit of damage across the wall there from the Vex.
But look at the Rise skimming, right? This isn't even a fight. The fact that they're considering the flank there was a needless risk. That Aatrox runs the risk of being killed. Rise is pushing top wave. They're going to crash in a wave that's not going to be seen by Mammoth at all. Extra gold into the pockets for an objective. Take a grump on the way out, right? Extra 100 gold.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. That's all they're doing. They've gone from behind in gold to about 1,000 up just by doing this off cooldown for the past 5 minutes.
It really does feel to me like that game earlier in the season, right, when Mammoth got that upset over Pensnet, where they had all the kills. That was their main focus, chasing down kills. But the way that Pensnet were trying to get back into that one, right, was just superior laning, sideways pushing, farming, and ultimately that's what we're sort of seeing as the approach here from Kanga.
That's it, which is a great way to play it. It's something that we're much more used to seeing last year in the LCO, right? Like it's a PGG standard. Give away 3 Jakes. Who cares? Fight the 4th one because you've got, X amount of items by that point. You're feeling much more fighting fit. Contrasting the ADCs as well, I think it is fair to say that Aphelios is a very strong scaling AD carry. Draven, I do think that people undervalue the scaling that he actually has, especially if he's ahead early. And with Ornn, right, providing those ornaments to give him that little bit extra. But it's about how they scale. I think Aphelios has so much flexibility, has so much range, has so much variability in the way that he's able to play to what the comp needs. Draven cannot change. Draven just is.
Yeah, very much a single target minded champion. Flash forwards from Fido to connect onto Tron to try to flash away. Out comes the call of the Forge God, but he's going to need some of those to help him out a little bit more than just that. Going to fall on down for the first time in the side wave, and now certainly Kanga found an invitation to try and bully.
And Mammoth are positioned right now for the top lane outer turret is the thing that they want to take, and Refury is in a 1v3 while bot dies, so the rest of the team just really invisible on the map right now. Rocco is playing with voice and with voice only, isn't playing with Mayfun. They're not getting any vision down together, so this will still result in an objective trade. But Kanga putting in the good work.
TP, Kanga want this one. Sonic Wave is there. He's got flash. He can kick. They were just scoping out what the response would be here for Mammoth, though. Instant TP of their own. They'd actually sent in 2 people, so they all just rock up to the fight. And Fighter goes, hang on a minute, why are 2 people here? Another shutdown found. More stacks playing, more gold there. And Voice is unstoppable. Look at Lived! In all 4 members face the Gorge Ring and just wipes them down. Lemus gets the shutdown like he so desperately needed. Sidesteps to Fear and is now wiping the floor with him. Look at Kanga find the confidence, the first to the play and the ones to try and end this one. Can they get an ace? Can they take down these 2 as well? They're going to find another. Lemus found himself a second, just out of range of the sniper. As Rocco's surely going to fall on down and Liv makes sure of it.
Liv just hits him with a chunky 1v9 effort there. I mean, honestly, there's no hill cut that was being utilized on the side of Mammoth. Suddenly, he's back to full health. Suddenly, that is a Conqueror ultimate Aatrox with a Gore Drinker. Surprise, you thought you had me, you do not. And then Draven was low and just gets flashed on by Limas, who finds his opportunity to pounce. That is a huge teamfight win that starts with Scott just getting instantly killed. Mayfun.
Mayfun's here. How's your nerve? You've done smite steals before. Can you do it again? Crescent Guard goes out early. He jumps in. Oh no! What has Voice just done to Lemus? He's dead. Call of the Forge God comes out again. Mayfun goes golden.
Scott's
They're not
dead.
him. They've had another kill. I do not
got
believe
Baron.
it. They pulled off the heist. They've taken a double, and thanks for the Baron.
I mean, who's the favorite this game, Skibby? Who's the favorite this game? You don't know. 6-1 is now the scoreline for Voice on this Draven. Just comes in and absolutely whomps them. Just a headshot. Just straight up crit to the noggin. Scott is having a roughie, I will say. If there's one thing to take away from this on Kanga's side is that Scott's having a rough one. Mayfun in their face just uses the Hex Gate. Liv goes over the wall to try and stop, and then suddenly 3 of them go over the wall and you forgot about your AD carry. Which is an incredibly big sin from Kanga. Limas stuck in the pit by himself saying, what are you guys doing? The Draven simply exists. But they forgot about the Draven. They were dealing with Mayfun.
Yeah, far too concerned about that smite steal with the Baron held at, what, 2,000 health. Ultimately, Voice just got to stand and deliver. The dream, really, in that position. And he's got 3 items. He is large, to say the least. I mean, I wonder how confident he feels. Is this a game where he says, I need Guardian Angel, or is he just going straight TPS?
You know, the next question that I have is, who is going to buy the heal cut that will actually be useful for Liv? Because the Bramble Vest is fine for lane phase if that's what you want, right? Or Aatrox is going to be auto-attacking you in lane. But to actually have that heal cut out of laning phase, you're going to need something a little bit extra, right? You're going to need Morellos, perhaps. You're going to need even an Executioner's for Voice for it to be super relevant. And I would say that maybe Mayfun getting that is the play.
It always feels rough when Eddie carry has
Someone's
to pick
got
up
it.
the swims, right? Another dragon found. Second Hextech Drake slain for the side of Mammoth. But I mean, if that was not a preview of the sustain that Lived has unchecked before, right? Standing around 4 members, swings to Gorger and get back to full HP. Got a death stance on top of that too. Gonna shrug off a lot of that damage and certainly go toe-to-toe with this Draven.
The best thing about this game is that we're back to where we were before the top fight. Like, that's the reality of this game right now.
Back to an even game.
Just more money into the pockets of the same people. Right, it's the Aatrox that's now 3-1. It's a 6-1 Draven, both having their shutdowns. The Aphelios are still scaling, however, and that really is the point to consider here, is we're looking at a close to 3-item mark for Limas, which is huge. Draven has 3.5, but haven't seen that used for anything just yet. I mean...
Look at Fido, though. I mean, he's nearly close to a Flame Horizon.
Yeah. There's been a significant period of time. Like, if we're going to look at, you know, jungle proximity is a globally used stat, but we haven't looked at mid lane to AD proximity. He was bottom so often, just standing in bushes on wards while they hit a turret. It's completely known, right? Which is why it's so easy for Fido to have the lead he has.
Yeah. I tell you what, if Voice was a stock, they all end. They certainly are hoping for a great return on that investment. And they've taken him down once. They've claimed 1 shutdown. He's built up a 2nd bounty. Certainly will be the hot target to take down again.
We're definitely nearing a one-team fight to determine the game angle in this one. Hextech Soul could be the play from Mammoth. I wouldn't be mad at that one. It's very useful for their composition. A Draven who needs to stop occasionally to catch an axe. Or really like the slow that is applied. I mean, it's very difficult for champions like, I will say, like Aatrox and Ryze are kind of movement speed / like mini dash based champions, right? Like Aatrox needs his E to cover extra distances, or he needs to walk faster than you to be successful, and so's Ryze, phase rush, etc. And the Hextech Soul does a lot of work in nullifying their strengths, which is that movement speed.
Very good point. You certainly want those champions to have the uptime, showcase what they can do in the later stages. That gets dissuaded, or prevented rather. Definitely be the Draven 1v9 angle. Back to side lanes they go though. Fido gonna soak up a storm. He has now eclipsed the 100 CS lead, which is just phenomenal. I mean, we would love to see that represented in the next team fight, right, by just having this huge item advantage. He's already sitting on 2 compared to that of Fury.
Full
No doubt has
as well.
a lot of gold in his pocket as he goes back to base now.
Yeah, straight up full damage build as well here from the Ryze. Is not going to go tanky. He's looking to dish out as much DPS as possible. Mammoth.
Oh no, they're going to go straight in. TPs have to be committed. The fight has to break out. Lionel there, instant devour onto Scott. They're going to try and find their moment.
Vex is
Shadow
in.
Surge goes in, knocks up 2. They find damage onto Limas. He's going to fall on down. Liv jumps into the back line, but it doesn't have the uptime that he needs. Damage onto Rocco, and it is going to get taken out there by Limas. Fury misses his reset. Liv, look at the Gore Drinker. He just needs a reset. He needs that Death Stance to proc. He wants Triumph, he wants it all, but he cannot find it. As he hits Stasis, he will fall down.
Mammoth find the window of opportunity. They'll hit the fight. Tron the Pom also hit in 14, so he's going to give the ornament to Voice. I believe it's Syzygy. I don't remember anymore. They're going to push mid lane inhib potentially here as well. Only 2 people alive from the side of Kanga. 5 on Lee Sin. That's an inhibitor if they want.
That's gone. And it all just starts with great decisiveness from Mammoth, right? To find a moment and punish.
They do it without... They don't have heel cut on either carry either. They have it on the Nautilus, but again, to the prior point, when is an Aatrox auto-attacking a Nautilus, right? So the fact that they win this fight, Lived was still an absolute menace. It's the rest of the team fight that goes super well for Mammoth. Scott's going to cue the Baron. He just wants to confirm the place to look at the very least. But it is just a disengage scheme.
Let's run it back one more time.
Rocco will flash in, he'll hit the hook. It's Lionel that they're actually after, right? You know that Scott's going to get immediately devoured here. So the ultimate going onto Lionel was correct. And just watch how Voice and Aatrox have to play this out, right? Because the Aatrox will go straight onto him, and instead of engaging the 1v1, he knows it's losing, he's just going to flash away and just go over towards the rest of the team that's putting in work. Limas zoned away from Fido, and it was the Vex that did everything in this fight for being able to separate the masses and really zone out the team fight. And then Lived, you know, the ultimate just subsides, and suddenly the Aatrox not as scary. It's not a front to back.
It's going to happen again. We're just going straight back to where the fight broke out before. This time, Kanga won't fall for those tricks. They can just sidestep away from the call of the Forge God. No other hard CC to lock them down, to knock them up multiple times.
Baron, though, is the play. It's the threat. You really want them to be coming toward you. Blue Trinket's going to be used here as well. We'll confirm that the Baron is being hit. Kanga will take the bait. But will a hook connect now? There's no call of the Forge God. With Tron the Pom having Warmogs, by the way, it does mean that they can do this infinitely. You can just sit at the Baron and hit it constantly because you're not going to lose any health on your tank that is dealing with the Baron.
I get ever so worried when they step up to that bush with the recalls going on through or just posturing in it. Luckily, Limas is able to get out of that back to base and pick up another item. So he has his work cut out for him though to try and deal with this Draven as Liv does another crack at it. That's his ultimate gone now for another, what, 40 seconds?
Yeah, that means it looks like it's going to be a Baron full commit for the Drake as Scott chooses to disengage the Drake. They really want to deal with this Baron buff.
Look at go.
Liv no ultimate, 3k health.
Are they going to flip this one? Scott, get close. Not going to be enough. Oh, the Moonlight Vigil with the flamethrower is certainly shooting him from afar. They don't want to entertain this one. Scott jumps in. And now she's going to get one shot. What was that, Scott? Oh, no, Lived. Lived has paid the ultimate price by backing up his teammate. And Voice, quite candidly, says, well, thank you very much for double.
Brother Scott looking for an angle and doesn't have one. Their only angle is the Death Chamber, and now Mammoth with a 2-kill advantage and Baron freshly picked up will walk down mid, which is a clear sign they want to end on sight. They have no Vex ult, no Ornn ultimate, no flash on the Xin Zhao, nor the Draven. To end here is tough.
They're certainly going for it though, aren't they? They've zoned away Limas from this wave. 2 turrets remain, 10 seconds on those respawn time. It's Scott up in 4, Lived up in 10. They've been zoned away, had to wait for this mini wave to come on through. They do have the supers, instantly nullified there by the stasis. Fido comes out of that one into Everfrost. Scott respawns, and Scott's in trouble. Devour is there, nice and early protecting Fido. Look how low they all are, look at Tron, look at Rocco.
They just have to base. I mean, look, that was never an end angle. Teleports have come in from Liv, then Fido.
Liv the king, he wants to end them all. He wants to be that world ender, that world breaker, that death dealer. They take out 2. Limas finds it with the flash forward. They're using the Hextech gates to great effect. What is going on in this game?
I can't, bro. I can't. How do you want me to break this down? No one's using their head. The teleports were good from Kanga, right? They'll find the pick. But what are Mammoth doing trying to end? They had no tools to end nor a minion wave. You just disengage to the free Drake. You've got 3. You've got a Drake soul point. But let's just flip some burgers in mid instead. What is this? Scott's back alive because he entered so long ago it doesn't matter. Lionel clutches and saves them. The health bars were low, but the second the health bars were low, this play is not real. You want to try and recall at all costs, and then Voice and Refury don't see the teleports. They try and take a fight, I guess? You can just press Baron buff, recall, and go back to base. They give 1,000 gold over to the pockets of Liv. I don't know, you tell me what's going on. What's Scott doing?
Scott nearly the hero at the end of that one, delaying another reset on that Baron-inspired recall, as you say, but far out. This game really has had all the twists and turns. We've said, I think, on at least, what, 3 or 4 occasions now. There's another even game. Look at the gold.
It's a 700 gold shutdown onto Limas.
How has that happened?
The Aphelios has hit critical mass. The inhibitor is
More
respawned
items.
for them. Baron has subsided, Skibby. There is every opportunity in the world to win this game here.
And look, Voice has already said, I'm not going to go Guardian Angel. I will just deal damage, even if it is the death of me. I want to carry. And this is what I've been given.
We have got an Infinity Edge done for Voice. I'm not sure on the exact gold difference between both these carries. The fact that Limas has a 700 gold shutdown is actually comical, given that his direct lane opponent has an entire whole item ahead of him. Like, it's a bit odd to me
It's
that
just a whole item, isn't it?
yeah,
look
just
at
a
that.
whole ass item ahead of him. But Limas is the one with a 700 gold shutdown, you know?
17,000. Crazy when you say that the next one is the Vex at only a puny 11,000.
Yeah, there's 3 people between Voice and the rest of his team. But that Infinity Edge being done is... Look at Lived.
Lived! Oh! Instant flash away every single time this Aatrox is putting that on cooldown.
No one checked the bush. Was Lived able to just sit in a bush and get away with it? Got away with murder. They get a free flash out of the Draven. That's everything. That is game winning, getting that summoner spell. And Mammoth really are just, look at them. Noah and his arc.
The boys are back in town.
Yes, Mr. Voice. We will go to mid lane.
Oh, he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders right now, though, doesn't he? It really is him who has to try and carry this game. But his flash being burnt, it's just so scary now, because you've got 2 big fights soon to break out. 1:30 on the Baron, 2 minutes for that potential soul point, and you know that both teams want to fight.
One advantage of his build is having the rapid fire cannon there. Instead of something like a Bloodthirster, right? Like the Bloodthirster for the sustain would be insane. There's also a world where he even considers changing the Eclipse, but I don't know what happens with one actually. This is a very interesting question. What would happen if you sell the Eclipse for a crit item? Anyway, the point is he's not at 100%.
Yeah.
But going for the rapid fire cannon is movement speed, it's extra range on the autos, so not having the flash, not as detrimental as like a Bloodthirster, you know, positional perfect build, where the flash is of absolute necessity.
Oh, look at the damage, look at Liv, they haven't spotted him. He's got across the wall, he's hit the chains, he's been rooted, out goes the corner of the Forge, got the Fears being burnt by the Vex, nice and early depth, but it just knocks him out. Oh, what a clutch! Clutch Devour! Oh, he's been stopped away by the Moonlight Vigil, now the Aphelios has the red and white, he's got the bounty, he's got the damage, and he's got another shutdown! Tron jumps in, 1v4, saying, can I copy paste what an Aatrox can do? The answer is no. Triple kill for Limas. Voice is dead. And Rockono, the last man standing, as Scott runs him down. And they've got 40 to 50 second cooldown time. Forget about him. Forget about him. Run this game down through mid.
Play continues, the dance continues. Q connects, so it is still going to most likely be a kill into the hands of Scott. He'll kick in for good measure. Game is done. Game is done. You've got 10 seconds on Mayfight and he's by himself. You couldn't have scripted this one.
What a game. Tell me, week 9 and every single game has been a banger. This one really went down to the wire, and at 35 minutes from a game that looked like set and match, Kanga are going to steal it with a late game decisive victory.
I mean, it's a well-earned win in the end. I mean, full credit to Limas. I think he had a very good game. I think Lived in general did his job extremely efficiently, right? He was just being a frontline healing tank. No one was stopping him from healing. There was no peel for the Draven. And realistically, if the team fight comes down to Draven can one-hit everyone but Aatrox, how is it that they keep 1v1ing Skibby? How is it that no one's helping him with the Aatrox?
What a game, really.
Ignite his head.
I suppose it comes back down to, once again, right, the fact that those flashes were being burnt off cooldown. And Mac, I mean, there were two very different tales there. It really was protect the Draven, make him, incredibly fed. But on the side of Kanga, it was just like, let's just split push to our heart's content. And you know what? 5 is better than 1.
Well, look, I walked out of the room and I thought, all right, well, this is it. Mammoth, they look like they've won this one. Bloody tie a bow on it. Come back 2 minutes later and then bloody Kanga, they're just walking into the base of Mammoth. I'm like, all right, well, I've missed something. So I don't know what I missed, but I know it's going to be in the replay package. So thank the LCO lords for replays. But what a bloody game. There was so much fun had by all. Entertainment across the damn rift. And then, look, Gank City everywhere. So, look, Mammoth started so damn strong, but it seemed like eventually Kanga scaled in. I had way too much fun watching that Baron shenanigans situation, which I think should be coming up just after this. Everyone leaves Lemus for dead, and then Manman he's just jumping everywhere, somehow not dying, popping the stopwatch at the perfect moments, and then the Baron inevitably goes to Mammoth. It was just like, what kind of narrative is this? Who's writing today's scripts? Because, goddamn, they are a genius. Pay them the $1 million salary that they are worthy of, Rusty.
Yeah, it was an exciting game. There was a lot of action. There was a lot of things that shouldn't have happened. There was a lot of things that did happen. So, as much as you want to, critique the bad, we can still praise some of the good that happened in this game. It was just wild. It was just a lot of chaos, I'll be honest.
So, what actually happened right at the end? Was it Lived just like popping off in an ulti? Is that the last thing we saw there?
The very last fight?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Lived and Voice were 1v1ing. That's egregious if you're Mammoth, right? Like, how is it that no one... Yeah, I think you had Rocco trying, but at the end of the day, the thing that still stands out to me, Mac, is that if you're playing against... Well, there is heal cut, but there is a Thorn Mail on 2 champions when you probably need a peeling Vex with heal cut, or the Xin Zhao to just take the L and get some kind of heal cut if Draven can't do it. Because no one that has heal cut is applying it to an Aatrox, just flat out. So it's bad.
And look, Lived is experienced enough to know how to dodge those Thorn Mails anyway, right? So it's like, just get like an Executioners somewhere. Someone can still get anything that can do that little bit of extra healing cut on purpose. You click on them. I don't know, but that's coming from hindsight, let's just say, rather than a bronze player. Because, Rusty's not a bronze player, and he's also saying it. And it seems so simple, but sometimes when you're right in it, you just don't think of some of the simple things. So maybe things could have been different. Right, Kitty? Is it? Would you want it any other way, or are you happy with this? You got your prediction right.
Tilted.
Mac, I'm gonna be honest with you. I probably expected the game to end like twice after Kanga got a 3-man kill, and it just went back to Mammoth. I mean, Mammoth all died and went back to Kanga all dead, and then the Baron throws, and then Lee Sin went in and he died, and Liv died, and then Limas died, and Aphelios got to carry in the end.
Exactly. Exactly.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
No, I'm malfunctioning, but I'm sure that someone who is okay is Liv, so let's bring him in for the interview. So Liv, I had a heart attack watching that game. I can't imagine what it was like actually playing that game. So walk me through the actual game and how the team managed to pull out the win.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, probably not the cleanest game we've ever played. I'm sure it was somewhat exciting to watch for some of the viewers. But being the one in that game probably was like, that's one of the most disgusting feelings I've ever felt.
I noticed that you have a signature hand gesture here. Don't be shy. I would be doing this after stealing away a win away from Mammoth as well. So insane comeback from the early game. So from which point in the game did you guys notice that you guys could actually turn the game around?
I feel like everyone was pretty calm throughout the game. Like, as long as we didn't completely their draft was really easy to play against IMO. I think my champion was also really cracked against all of theirs. They're all super short range. They're all they don't have any. I can just build full armor, and I'm just immortal pretty much. Draven is their only damage. Vex does a little bit of damage, but it's a lot of burst. As long as you dodge it, it's pretty easy. So I feel like I was pretty confident we were going to win throughout the whole game. Probably didn't look like that, but I swear it was easy win the whole time.
It was an easy win the whole time. You heard it from Lived, guys. And also, this was our first Draven pick we've actually seen in the LCO so far. So did that catch the boys by surprise?
It definitely did. When they picked Draven, Lemus is definitely a big Draven player as well. So there was a bit of talking going on in the champion select.
Well, I said it in Twitch chat. I was like, "Oh, Draven's gonna give his lead away to Aphelios, and that he's gonna carry. So maybe I can see into the future." Well, Lived, I'm quite hyped up after that game. Hopefully, you know, you're a bit not as I don't know how to explain my feelings. That game was just so. I'm having a meltdown. I'm gonna send you away, Lived. I'm losing my marbles like Mac. So, Lived,
Alright,
congrats on the win
here.
once again,
I'm
and
also
have a good
losing my
night.
marbles. Awesome, thank you very much.
Help
Hey,
me.
My
Guys,
marbles
help
are
me.
all in the circle. I've put them all out there. You know, I've shown everyone my hand, and they can, you know, think of it as they will. If it's that I'm losing my marbles, kitty, look, so be it. But we of course have a Dare MVP, and for this game, I'm actually not 100% sure who it is. So let's just have a look at who got the Dare Most Valuable Player for game number 3, and it was the man on your screen, Lived. Big W from him and a big game up top. Even though Tron dealt with him in that early game, he managed to keep his wit, keep his nerve, and come on back into the game. And then also turn a lot of those final fights that got Kanga over the line, Skimmy.
Yeah, must be interview buff, right? Gets a pre-game, gets a post-game, gets the MVP. Just what an absolute mammoth of a performance from him.
Shout out Owen.
Yeah, that's it. Certainly is, right? So no doubt for him. He's checking out of the ref. He's straight onto the anime, and he's leaning back and saying, "Job well done, boys. See you next week."
That's exactly what it is. Now, look, ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the break, I just want you all to know that I love you dearly, even if I am losing my marbles. So, fortunately, we got another game, final game of the day. That's going to be Order up against Direwolves, maybe a playoffs preview. Let's see how they fare just after this break.
Nice early death spot. Oh, he just knocks him out. Oh, what a clutch! Clutch devour! Oh, he's been stopped away by the Moonlight Vigil. Now he finishes the red and white. He's got the bounty, he's got the damage, and he's got another shutdown. Tron jumps in 1v4 saying, "Can I copy paste what an Aatrox can do?" The answer is no. Triple kill for Lemus. Voice is dead.